Section 11, Part 1, Article 2 of the City of Columbia Charter establishes that the City Council has the power to appoint the city manager and the power to remove him. Here's a quote of the section. The council shall appoint an officer who shall have the title of city manager and who shall have the powers to perform the duties provided in this charter. The appointment of the city manager shall be for an indefinite term at the pleasure of the council. I ask you, is the city council pleased with the way the city manager is performing his duties? In the last few months, after being tasked by this council through a unanimous resolution to come up with a community-oriented policing plan, he has instead participated in planning a bureaucratic restructuring of the community outreach units, effectively eliminating those units and positions by disbanding them and then creating community response units. The community outreach unit officers, who have worked hard to gain the trust and confidence of the communities they serve, are now being asked to reapply to the newly formed response units, as is every officer, which basically results in a bureaucratic demotion for the COU officers at a time when they should be being recognized and applauded for their work, as I think we saw in the video. After reviewing internal police department emails and internally circulated job postings obtained through a records request, Race Matters Friends asserts that the city manager is not being truthful about the planning process behind these changes, as well as not being truthful about his interactions with the press regarding his involvement and knowledge of these changes. He is not doing the job he has been tasked with by this council. These disturbing revelations are just the most recent in a series of actions that have undermined the city council members' roles as representatives of the citizens. One of Mayor Treese's first acts was to issue a transparency ordinance, and yet our city manager has shown a complete inability or unwillingness to comply. He continues to answer challenges to his management through deception, as evidenced by his claim that reporters did not try to talk to him before reporting about the dissolution of the community outreach units. They did reach out to him. Another example of his unwillingness to comply with the will of the people is his interdepartmental money transfers to fund the police department. When the city manager undermines the continued work of implementing community-oriented policing and fails to hold Chief Burton accountable for his shocking statements about how police want action and car chases and not relationships with citizens, he demonstrates that we cannot trust him with public safety. He was never planning to implement community-oriented policing, and now that has become very clear, as evidenced by the dismantling of the community outreach units. You are our elected representatives, and you have the power and the responsibility to act the will of the community. Serving on city council comes with challenges. You have a lot of demands on you. You have a great deal of work to do, and we see that you could use more support. Our city manager shows inadequate respect, as evidenced by producing reports and work products that undermine your intentions. City staff are intimidated and feel vulnerable as he tries to run the city with minimum redundancy. And because of the rules of the city charter, you're unable to interact with them directly so that you can receive their complaints and understand their fears. We have invested our power in you, and you have the power to remove the city manager. He's been the manager for a long time. The usual tenure of a city manager is 7 to 8 years, and he's been running this city for 7.5. We think it's time for someone new who will respond to the needs and will of the community and treat us and you with respect, someone new who will respond to the City Council's directions. We understand that implementing positive change for our city is not easy, but we believe you have the courage and integrity to move our city forward by removing this city manager. As Mayor Treese said earlier today on the radio, more consistent leadership is needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Muller. Please.